Before we get started, please take the time to like, add, and subscribe to our pages on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes. Also, please leave us a review.
Just like you just felt one with like nature. And it really was when those mice started hopping out of the floor, because then you were one with nature. They're just running around you. And that was interesting.
We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility?
Clink.
Clink, click, clack, clickety clack, 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 click, click, clack. How we doing today?
Welcome back. No, I'm doing great today. And as you asked Matt, buddy, he's doing good.
Yeah.
That was that. It doesn't even faze him. You ask him it every time. Matt, just out of the blue. How you doing, buddy? Oh, good. I'm doing good, Mark.
Sure, he is. He's usually always doing good. You'll catch him every once in a while. No, but we're back from Glacier I'm back from Montana. Weirdly enough, I've come back to the heat. Normally I go and I'm in the heat, and Oregon is cooler, but no, I've come to the heat. So
it was 104 degrees here today in Billings, Montana.
Yeah, we had 103 on Monday.
Oh,
yeah, and it's cooled off. It was only 93 today. So
terrible.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. The heat is something. It's interesting because Glacier, we dealt with the snow. We talk a lot about it, because we go through one of our classic reviews, and for the first time we have 4 folk on the podcast.
Yeah, first ever 4 people, 2 guests.
4 dudes. What does that say about us?
What is it? More dudes.
Yeah.
That's how we like to party, is more dudes. But no, it's good when we got everyone that went on the trip to Glacier. We got everyone together. We do our Wandering Ways review. We have some fun. We talk about critters, kayaking, hiking, liquid death, and everything in between. And we may even talk about a Bigfoot sighting. I don't know. You have to listen though.
No, exactly. No, it was super exciting. This was one of those trips. It was kind of an interesting, like, quick trip to Glacier. Not sure how I feel about that. Go ahead.
What? Because you mention it in the later, as people will do. You'll mention it later. That is a quick trip, and that when it comes to Glacier, I think you go to Glacier, you'll enjoy Glacier, and it's always leaving you wanting more when you're there, because there is so much to see, and it's hard to see everything. But I feel like this trip feels extra quick because of everything we did in the 2 weeks.
That's true. And that episode is to come. That is one we are going to bring to you, the Wanderers, because we did a lot. We did a lot of cool stuff. We did a lot of stuff in places people like to go. I'm thinking, like, me and you need to do like a weekend Glacier, and we need to be like, oh, we're doing like this camp hike on the east side, and then we're going over here to the west side and doing the same thing. I want to do that.
Yeah.
No, or do that one
when
across.
We do this, when we break down, which I think is in 1 or 2 weeks, we're going to break down the whole trip. And I don't want to spoil it too much for everyone, but it basically, the 2 weeks, which you and I spend a good chunk of time together during that 2 weeks, it really sums up where you and I are in our lives. You're off getting married, and I'm out there running marathons.
Yeah,
that sums up where the Wandering Ways crew is really at in life.
No, it was wild. I mean, it was a good time. We had a lot to do. But yeah,
we'll get into it in another episode.
Yeah.
today we're talking Glacier National Park. If for people watching, I'm holding up a cool postcard of Glacier. I'm going to send it to my nieces because apparently they're sending me a postcard here soon. So I gotta return the favor here. But no, let's jump in. We got not Tyler Gray or T-Dog as we call him now, which this is a great opportunity for our wanderers to get to know Tyler because he is a new Wandering Ways intern. So get a chance to come in and get Tyler because he's going to be back.
No, he's good. I think he's going to want to do some of those adventures with you out there in Oregon.
100%.
When you have those weekend trips, he's a lot easier to get, hey, fuck yeah, I'll come down for a couple hours.
And then we got Matt Buddy, who is always a pleasure. Matt Buddy,
he's a hoot.
Yeah, Matt, he's a joy and a half. And you see Matt Buddy in full bloom this episode. So you got anything, or should we just jump on in?
I think let's give them what they want. Let's give them Matt Buddy and Tyler.
Let's go. Whew. Hello, and we are excited. We got the whole crew from good old Glacier National Park. No, we're going to do the review. So we got everybody in because everybody's got to get their word in on how beautiful or maybe not beautiful. We're going to find out today. Glacier National Park and the chalet and everything was. For the people just listening, we got a fan favorite here. We got Matt Buddy back on the show. And then we got a returner, someone that only you OGs have probably ever listened to. It is not Tyler Gray, or as we like to also say, T-Dog.
Thank you, Reverend.
All righty, but let's just get off the get-go. First initial thoughts, just no rating, like it could be a yes, no, as quick as that, but how was Glacier for you, Matt Buddy?
I would say this trip this time was probably at the top for me, honestly. If I had to choose with the hiking times in Glacier, this was number one. Excluding just driving through the park for the first time, because it's just exciting your first time. I think this one with the hikes we did was probably the best.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
T-Dog. Well, I think we lost T-Dog, but that's okay. Zach Gray, hit him up.
He's gone. I don't know. With this trip, it was really interesting because we did a lot, but it didn't feel like we did a lot. It was just like pop, 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 So it was different. It was good to be back in Glacier. It was good to experience it. Every time I go, it's like I wish we had more time.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yes,
I think Tyler's back. Tyler, go ahead.
T-Dogs, what's your initial thoughts with Glacier?
First, unbelievable. And this was probably one of the smoother trips I've been on. Even with the whole going to the Sun Road and stuff, I just felt like everything worked out for us. We didn't really miss out on a lot. But I love the hikes, love the views. The chalet was amazing. I want to do another one of those. But overall, I just thought it was unbelievable.
There we go. Yeah, no, this was a good Glacier trip. I was pretty stoked. It was, I said this was my 5th time in Glacier, and I think this might be top 2. It's top 3 for sure, maybe top 2.
Oh,
it was a good time in Glacier. I'm not gonna lie.
It was, Matt Buddy kind of fucked up most of the trip, losing my lures, dicking around in Montana, getting me sick. So Glacier, you're right. It did make it a little bit better. You know, it was like, oh, I can tolerate these guys still.
Just to be clear, I lost one lure. And you can't
Two.
confirm who spread the sickness.
Two. You lost two. You lost the one on the boat and then the one on the canoe.
Wait, on the canoe.
The one that snapped off from the
Oh,
weeds.
that is right. Okay, well, you still don't know where this is gone.
Alrighty, so we'll jump into the actual review now. So again, I'll go over what each category is and how to rank them, and then we'll just go around the horn. We'll probably start with we'll probably mix it up as we go. But the first category is the awe factor. So what I mean by awe factor, I mean like when you get in the park and it's just like, holy cats, that's amazing. That'd be a 5. Or you get in the park and you're going like, yeah, it's kind of cool. That'd be on the more of the 1 section. Like, did it kind of blow your mind? Did it have you just go, oh, that's amazing? So T-Dog, we'll start with you.
Yeah, if I'm talking about like a very first time I went to Glacier, probably a 5.
For this
Like,
trip.
This trip, probably a 3.6.
Whoa.
It wasn't like too high because it was like, I don't know. I was sitting in a van, first of all. Like the only time I was actually like in the park was I was in that little like seat back there. So I couldn't see much, but like, I don't know. I know the park would have blown me away if I had a front view seat and everything, but yeah. 3.6.
3.6. Okay, I dig it. Dewey Decimal over here giving us Matt.
Yeah, for me, I would say I'd give it about a 4 out of 5 for the off factor. Similar to Tyler, if it was my first time, maybe 5, but it's still up there for me because there was still a lot of snow as well up at the top of those mountains, and just on the hike up when we're going up to the chalet, the view just got better and better the more we went up, and it's kind of like it motivates you too because you have those times where you're getting tired, and I think for the listeners, that encourages people to keep going because the view just keeps getting that much better.
100%. Is that great?
Fuck you both. No, that's kind of mean to say that. But like 5 out of 5, like the awe factor, like waking up on top of a mountain and just that view, like we saw the whole Highline Trail all the way to Logan's Pass. You could look down the valley and see all the way to the Flatheads, almost the Sealy Swan Mountains. Like you could see for miles and miles and miles. And if you hike up the mountain, which was only like a mile, you could go see the Great Prairie. Like, god damn, those are views. Those are like, you're on top of the fucking world.
To be fair, I took that a little more literal. And when Mark said driving in, the off factor, I just
okay.
But if we're talking,
oh my god.
we're talking about the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh my god. I was beginning to wonder about that, Tyler. When you front seat, what seat are we talking about?
Yeah. But no, obviously, yeah, seeing the Highline Trail, seeing Logan's Pass from like the chalet, just seeing it. Well, Mark was
in that like 360 feel when you wake up and have breakfast and just want to like not leave.
100%. It's the chalet. The views at the chalet is what makes me give it a 5 out of 5 because I was even talking to you when we were up there. I was like, you almost like you forget and you feel like it's almost fake, and then you like look at it and you're just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like the mountains were just like bam, bam, right in your face up there. You're just like, what?
It's a painting that you're like, this isn't a painting. This is real life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a backdrop.
Yeah.
100%. We'll move on to the next category, which is good old-fashioned crowds. So what do I mean by crowds is how crowded was the park? 5 out of 5 would be very empty for this one. So the higher it is, the less crowds. 1 being like you might as well be shopping on Black Friday for a TV at Walmart type deal. So with that one, we will actually start with the buddy, Matt. Buddy, how you doing? Give us your rating.
All righty. Well, I would say for crowds at Glacier, I would give it a 3 out of 5.
Fair.
I think yes, the Logan Pass was closed, which may have, held some people from coming. Just the ones that were going to do the drive and stuff. But I feel like the crowds were moderate, like everywhere we were. Like there were people, right? But it wasn't like a huge crowd either. So it was very manageable, I would say.
I dig it. Zach.
Honestly, for me, the crowds, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 for a few reasons. Because of the entry system, it didn't, compared to times last, like we found a parking spot in Apgar at like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. just fine. And that to me, that's a sign. Yeah, the Avalanche campground parking lot looked full, but remember, you can go up into the campground. There's a lot more parking that people don't know about. When we were able to sit after coming down from the chalet, we had the loop to ourselves. I don't think that'll ever happen again in our lifetime, ever. That's how crazy that was. The chalet, only 45 people max are up there, and I don't think they were even completely sold out, when you look at like how many people were truly up there, and everyone kind of kept to themselves anyway. So really, it wasn't that bad, wasn't that crowded. But we also didn't, we didn't hit things at popular times. Logan's Pass was closed. The bike trail was closed, so people in the park, the flooding, the rain was keeping people out. So it was, I enjoyed it.
No, 100%. That was a huge perk, that having that moment up there. Tyler, what would you give crowds?
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like 4. It was still a little crowded. I'm gonna go like 3.7 because this is the least crowded I have actually visited the park, and it's been the last 2 years is way packed. I remember the first year when Mark and Zach brought me, it was like the Avalanche was insane. I just remember there was cars on that street, and like they weren't like anyone through. And like even last year when I went with my friends, like that whole Apgar parking lot was packed. So it was just a big change, but I really enjoyed it. The less, the merrier, especially in national park.
100%. It for me, it gets the 4 out of 5 as well. And if I were to tell someone just about, like, honestly, this trip with the crowds was exactly how I tell people the crowds are at Glacier. Is there's going to be spots, you're going to see a lot of people, but you can get away from them, and you're going to probably have a moment where there's not low crowds at all, and you can have a moment to yourself. And we had tons of moments on both the hikes to Iceberg, even up to the chalet. Even at the loop, that was a rare one. So the crowds were even less this time, but that's because the road was closed. But just in general, you're going to hit crowds because, remember coming down all the freaking bikes on the way up? That was gnarly. But yeah, it's crowded, but you can get away from those crowds real quick in Glacier, which is, I think, a perk of the park itself.
Yeah.
Fair. Definitely.
Moving on to the third category, we're going to talk about the hikes. So this is the hikes that we did, and I'm talking about Iceberg Lake, which is the one that we first did, first day in the park, and then up to the chalet, Tyler, you can do the extra hike, add the extra hike that you and I did, and then down from the chalet for all of us. So 5 being wonderful hikes, done them, I do them over and over, recommend highly, you know, there's just off the chart hikes. 1 being like, I wish I would have just walked on my treadmill at home. So that being said, we'll start with Zach.
Oh wow. First off, I'm just gonna rank the 2 hikes for what they were. The Iceberg one, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I think that's a great hike. It's a beautiful hike. It shows you Glacier for what Glacier is. It's not a difficult hike because it's just a gradual incline pretty much the whole time walking up to Iceberg Lake. You see it a lot in social media as one that people go to. I like that. The chalet one, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 because just the whole hike, the views just kept getting better and better and better. And yes, it sucked. It was all uphill. It took us 4 hours to get up it, I think. 3 to 4 hours, but it was worth it. It was one of those hikes that it paid off in the end. And then on the way down, it was an easy hike on the way out. So, they were great. Anytime you can spend time in Glacier is a good time.
100%. Matt Buddy, what would you give hikes?
Yeah, I would say I agree with Zach on the Iceberg Lake and would also give it a 4 out of 5. I think it's a good, like, say someone's like, they're doing a road trip and they have one day to stop at Glacier and they want to have time for one hike. That would be a good one to do if you're kind of just passing through and but want to get that glimpse of what Glacier is. I think that gets you the views. Like Zach said, it's not a strenuous one. It's gradual. So yeah, that one 4 out of 5. The chalet, I would give that one a 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, it's more of a strenuous hike, but once you get up there and the views and like even myself, I was like, oh my God, this sucks. But once you get up there and see it, and it's just like, wow, like I'm on top of a mountain, like, oh, pretty much, right? And it's like you can just see for miles up there. The changes in the tree lines and the different like environments as you hike up and go down, you change with the altitude into those. So that's really cool to see as well.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that one there. Tyler.
Yeah, so that Iceberg Lake one, I agree, shows you everything. It was a long one. It was easy though. It was not like, it was gradual the whole time. Like we were just talking, having a good time. Beautiful views. Loved the little bridge that we went over. Like even like the kind of side of the mountain meadows with all the wildflowers. That was beautiful. And like even I thought the top was pretty cool, that little lake, but like I don't know if it was worth the 8 miles. Like it was still beautiful, like, but I don't know. I feel like you could go do another hike. Like I personally was a fan of the Avalanche hike because that lake was just so like clear and just like open. The sun was hitting it, but the Iceberg Lake probably like a 3.8, right? Then we go to the chalet, whole different story, because walking over, like seeing that like kind of river going through the valley, and like I don't know if it's valley, but it was just like I love the greens, the like how the tree line met the bush, and like how the like you could literally see each mountain and how it had like a waterfall just cut a river just racing down it, and you could see for miles. And then at the top it was even better. Like that was easily like 4.9 out of 5, like almost perfect. The only issue was like the heavy packing of a bag, but like that's your choice. So yeah, but and then I guess the top one was, well, it was the Swift Current Lookout that we were trying to do.
Yeah, it was for everybody that doesn't know. So Tyler and I did an extra hike when we got there we went looking for the Swift Current Lookout, and it was a classic Mark trip where you went out looking for something and didn't find it.
Oh, like we were going up it, and we were actually on the right path, and there's just so much snow. It was just like at least like 2-3 feet of let's say 2 feet of snow that we were standing on. And then it was just, we were like, let's take the other path because it's drier. And then we ended up walking on more snow, which was cool. But I think the whole like walking on snow, definitely a different like change for a hike. That like, oh wow, like it's kind of tiring, but still fun. But we get to the end, we see Many Glacier, beautiful. But I don't know, because we got lost on that one. It would be definitely be a better hike to do like later in summer, like August, when there's actually a trail. But it had a beautiful view. I would say like 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna give that one to where we tried looking for the lookout a 2.5. Just because when we got up there, it was crazy how far down into like the prairie we could see. But I'd say for me it was like a 3 out of 5 for that hike. Just because the snow got tired, and I think it's because I was tired and was tired of walking on snow, and so I was just kind of grumpy with the snow. I was like, I want it off this shit. So that's why it's for me a 3.5. The Iceberg Lake one, I really actually kind of like what you said, how you preferred Avalanche Lake. The lake, if you're comparing the two lakes, Avalanche is definitely the better lake. But when it comes to the hike, like to the lake, Iceberg Lake's way better of like a hike. You see a lot more. You see some falls, you cross a bridge, great views of the valley, and then you get a lake around a bunch of mountains, which is like classic Glacier. So, for me, that one's a 4 out of 5, just because it is such a good hike. I think Cracker is still kind of the best of the 3 lake hikes we've done in Glacier. And then up to the chalet, that's another 4 out of 5. That one, yeah, absolute terror going up with the heavy packs, because that shit was heavy. But the views, like pretty much most of the time, were just incredible. Once you kind of got up the first little hill, you had the view of the valley like the whole flipping time. And then you get up and it's a different kind of look at the valley. And then you get up to the chalet itself. And I talked about the views of the chalet during the off factor, how it was like, oh. But so that one, like for the views, absolutely incredible. But it's no joke of a hike. I mean, you're going up the whole, 4 miles up. So
4 miles, I think. Yeah.
And you're going up.
Yeah, you're going up the whole time. So that's what I would
get
do.
it.
Yeah. So we'll do this one kind of a quickie real quick here for before we get on to some cool shit. But accessibility. So what do I mean by accessibility? 5 out of 5 means anybody and everyone can do this hike. 1 out of 5, you better be Bear Grylls in order to do, and not just the hikes, but like our trip to Glacier, really. So Bear Grylls or anyone and everyone. And when I mean anyone and everyone, I mean anyone and everyone. So I'll start this one off 3 out of 5. The nice thing about the chalet is I think it opens up a lot more opportunities for more people to do it. Because you can get food up there. They got the Lennons up there. So you can get a lot of the stuff that you would carry almost shipped up to the top of the chalet waiting for you. So it opens up a lot more opportunity for people. But I mean, you still have to be somewhat physically active to be in Glacier. It's a hiking park. So,
Yeah.
But Tyler.
Yeah, I would say probably 3. I thought if we're just talking about the chalet, yeah, it's pretty accessible, but it's a lot of uphill. We were walking over a lot of snow. That first hike, the Iceberg Lake hike, more accessible. You would have to give that one a different rating, probably like higher threes, just because it's flatter, not too much. We did walk on a little bit of snow, and then the one that me and you did, Mark, that's like if difficulty is 5, right?
Yeah, difficulty 1. One is you have to be Bear Grylls to do it.
I would say like 2 then, 2, because we're just straight walking on 2 feet of snow. It was too much. But
I feel that. Matt Buddy.
Yeah, I think overall the park generally probably in the 3-ish range, just because like, you know, a lot of the hikes are going to be uphill because they're on the west side, you're in a valley. On the east side, every little, you know, Two Medicine, any glacier, any little valley there is going to go up. You know, for the people that literally can't hike, you know, Logan Pass is open. You can do the drive-in tour and take your pictures, and so it's accessible for some in that way. But if you're going off on a hike, most of the trails you have to probably be in like at least okay shape, and you know, mobile with your legs and whatnot as well. So somewhere in the 3 range.
Love it. Love it. Zach Gray.
Yeah, I would agree 3, 2, kind of in that same kind of sense, because you know you can do the Highline Trail to the chalet, and that is just a lot longer, but it's not as steep of a hike. And if you do that in like late July, August, you're not going to get as much of that snow. So that there makes it more of a 3. But like in that chalet, you know, in a sense, like that was a strenuous hike. There's people I know that I'm like, they're not making that hike, you know, just because it is steep. The nice thing is it is short. It was a 4-miler. So you can really break it up. You could try and do a mile, you know, if you really want to do it, you could take a whole day to do it. But some people will do it in a couple hours because they're that fit. It's just kind of what you want to do. I like it. I mean, it was good. You can go to the visitor centers and whatnot. You know, that's very accessible. Like you said, you could drive Logan's Pass. You can look out a van. You get a good car seat. You know, Tyler, you get one of those front row seats. You can do well and see the park, even if you don't have any, you know, you have a disability where you can't walk or something. You still can experience Glacier. So that's why, yeah, a good right in the middle 3. Because some of the stuff we did, you know, you can do some of those bikes are electronic bikes that people are doing biking up the pass. That is something that you could do in the park. We saw a lot of. So there's many opportunities for everyone to see Glacier. But what we did, you need to be able to hike, and you need to know that you're just going up a mountain. Yeah.
Totally. So I was kind of thinking of getting into sport fishing again, but I feel like I need a good quality net.
Well, you know what, Reverend? I got the key solution for you. You know, our friends at Blue Ribbon Net make this eco-friendly aquafade bag, so you're not hurting the environment. It's 100% biodegradable. Plus, the wood is locally sourced, and it is also biodegradable, and it's just such a great company to use. The Blue Ribbon Nets, they're here in Bozeman, Montana, and we even have a discount code. That's right. If you use the code Rougarou10, that's right. That's my Jeep, the Rougarou. Rougarou10, RUGARU10. You're going to get some discount on a Blue Ribbon net. You know, you can get the long one if you're fishing the big fish, or you can get just the good river one, you know, if you're like me and just want to catch a lot of fish.
So again, make sure you go check out Blue Ribbon and use the promo code Rougarou10.
Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You know, you use the code Wandering Ways, WANDERING WAYS, and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount.
So now it's time for my favorite segment of the podcast. Tyler, you actually have not done this because when you were last on, this was before this time. But Matt, you've done this a few times. But it's time for cool shit in nature. And this is where we show some cool shit in nature. So I got two as per usual today. And this first one is kind of a funny one. And if we ever go to Australia, I want you, Matt, to do this.
Okay.
Here it is.
Oh.
So apparently, for the people just listening, apparently if you lay down and move your like legs in a bicycle kind of movement, emus get super curious and will like come up to it.
Oh my God. Don't they, do emus spit? Are they the ones that
Those are llamas.
Oh, llamas. Okay.
Emus bite. They fucking bite and they hurt.
Yeah, these guys got crazy talents.
Wow.
So these guys will mess you up for sure.
Well, Mark, if we ever go to Australia, maybe visit Jean.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
I'm holding you to it.
No, I will, man. I'll do it.
Alrighty. No, so the second one, some of you guys may recognize this second one, but I really wanted to show this one because I want to talk about it with you guys.
Oh my God.
Oh. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so for the people again just listening, I'm showing a reel that's on Zach of Wandering Ways Instagram, so you can go check it out there. The four of us after Glacier did a kayaking trail, and right in the middle of a big old storm. And we got hit with some hail that were the size of marbles, ping pong balls. I mean, they're huge.
They hurt.
Oh,
I got hit on the head like 2-3 times, and I was just like, God, like this could knock someone out.
Yeah, and I love in the reel you have that picture of Tyler's back, and
yes, I have bruises, the 3 bruises on my back from that day.
Yeah, I had some pretty good ones on the back of my neck and shoulders, and it felt like I got punched.
oh,
That was hell. That was
a trip. And it was right as we got into the lake, where we had nothing around us. Like it's just open water, and then it just started coming.
We were almost done. We were like, yep, we'll get off the water. We'll be done. No thunderstorm, but no, mountain weather comes early and we get attacked by hail.
Attacked is a good word for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Look how big those chunks are. And you were like, they have points. They have points.
Yeah, some of them had, I'm not joking, like freaking like claws or something on them. But no, that was a wild experience to kayak on the water. Like
I have to say, like, I don't know how many people can say they've experienced that on a lake. Like, it's probably very few people if you really think about it.
No, I think we're the ones that are only dumb enough to hailstorm.
I don't know. Like I feel like we were fine. Like we got through it. We knew what to do. We survived.
That half of that, we were in the clear water, and like they just kept getting bigger. I was like, oh my god, if they get bigger, I'm gonna die.
Mark's like, I'm gonna jump in the water here. Lightning's gonna hit.
I was afraid someone was going to get struck by lightning and fall in the water, and I was going to have to like save them so they won't drown. That was my thought.
You weren't thinking they're going to fall off because the hail?
No, I wasn't. The hail, I wasn't. Although, like now we're looking back at it, you took one of those hails like to the right spot in the dome, like it's lights out.
No, but as you're paddling, right, and you hit the dome, and you just like the weight or whatever fucks you up. Like I thought those two, because they're on the sit up ones where the weight balance is a little bit higher, like it's not like the same as the sit down ones. And like I took a couple to the shin and ankle, like that fucking hurt.
That was awful.
It was. All right, but we're gonna wander on back to our Wandering Ways review, or our WWR. And we're gonna go in. We just only have 1, 2, 3, 4 more categories left for everyone listening. And this time we're gonna talk camping, or this specific trip, we're talking chalet. What would you rate the chalet? 5 being amazing, 1 being like you'll never catch me in that damn thing again. So we will start with Matt Buddy.
I would overall, considering the building is 108 years old, I would maybe give it like a 3. Just because, like, I mean, it was nice having a bed, right? Not having to pitch a tent up there and pack all that gear.
There is a campground.
What's that?
There is a campground up there. You saw the sign, right?
There was a campground. Okay. So, well, there's a few things they could improve upon there, I feel like, in the sense of like, there's a draft coming through the doors, and like, there's like the mice thing, and we'll let Tyler talk about that. But they could improve upon just a few things there at the chalet. But overall, after a long, grueling hike for the views, to have a bed to sleep on, that was my main concern, and I got it. So
love it. T-Dog, what'd you think?
I thought it was great. Honestly, like 4 out of 5. Go solid on that one. I loved not like, because I'm younger. I'm big with technology. Not having my phone, I thought that was amazing. The chalet being in the middle of nowhere, just like you just felt one with like nature. And it really was when those mice started popping out of the floor, because then you were one with nature. They were just running around you. And that was interesting. And I literally turned my shoulder. I was like, I'm gonna just sleep the other way. But like, that was an issue with the chalet. And like, I guess the food was very interesting. I understand though, you're in bear country, there's animals everywhere, but like, you can't beat that view. You can't beat getting out of your bed, walking out that door, and just seeing that face of the mountain. Like, it was just so unreal.
Yeah, I concur. I'll rate this one before we'll have you go last on this one there, Zach. But I would give it a 4 out of 5. I think it's a really cool experience to go up. Like Matt said, it's a building that is over 100 years old, so that in itself is very cool. It's like kind of a hotel hostel up in the mountains, which is a cool experience to have. I loved it. Having the beds was really nice, and all that. Although the beds, while nice, it's not like I'm totally fine hooking up my hammock in a couple trees. Um, Going to get water, that kind of sucks because you got to walk a quarter mile. And I slipped one time when I was by myself, so and that could have actually been ended really bad. Luckily it didn't, but no, overall 4 to 5, it's a cool experience. I think it opens up a lot of opportunities for people to get a backcountry experience that they may not have it. So that's also a nice little factor, but that also draws in interesting people for when you're up there. But overall, 4 out of 5.
I'm disappointed. If I know you guys, I don't know if I'm going to take you to Sperry Chalet. Sperry Chalet, because like I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Because like you fuckers, I know how you guys plan. Try and do that again. Try and book it again. That is a once in a lifetime experience. And it, like you said, it's a 108-year-old building. You're on top of the mountain. What other national parks have things like this? I mean, they all have their unique things. This is something crazy. Glacier only has 2 of them. One of them burned down 2 years ago. And if you could imagine what would have happened if Sperry Chalet would have burned down last year during COVID, or something like that. The history and the fact that there were 9 chalets in the park at one point, and now there's only 2, and they are privately run. So it is kind of interesting when you look at that, like how much longer can these things go on? It took the fact that chalet was a historical landmark essentially for it to still be run. It's one of those things that I think I want to do the Highline Trail. So I guess I'll be back. I hope I'll be back. I want to do Sperry Chalet. I want to do the chalets in Switzerland and places like that. So that's why it's a 5 out of 5. And then, just for the listeners, we did camp outside the park in the Glacier Campground, just next to the KOA, just right outside West Glacier there. And that was a decent campground. Typical campground, had showers, had bathrooms, had RV hookups. I'll give that a 3 out of 5. Just your average campground. But it was good. It was a good time.
No, totally. It is definitely like a once in a lifetime bucket list kind of item out there for a lot of people. But moving on to the next category. This one is wildlife viewing chances or opportunity in the park. So what do I exactly mean by that? 5 being you're basically at a zoo. Animals are left and right, crazy to see. 1 being like, I don't want to sway anybody's numbers here, but like classic high mountains where there's a little bit of life and you might find something, but for the most part it's pretty harsh and it's hard to live there, so you're not going to see a whole lot. So we'll start off with the critter whisperer, Tyler over there.
Yeah. No, those mice, it was almost a petting zoo. Kind of to us. But other than those mice, we probably saw like 50 deer.
Fuck.
It out. And then we saw that ground, that little bird.
That spruce grouse.
The grouse, yeah.
Yeah.
And the mountain goats.
Oh yeah, the mountain goats. Yeah. Yeah. So probably like a 2. Not great. It was your last year when I went, I saw like a moose, a bighorn ram, the mountain goats, deer, elk going in. Like there was everything. But this year, a little disappointing.
I feel it. Matt, buddy.
Yeah, I would say I would give it a 3 out of 5 for this trip. Glacier in the past, though, seemed mountain goats, bighorn sheep, grizzly bears, right, etc. This time, seen a lot of the smaller critters this time. Hiking, seen a ton of deer. Oh God, the deer population is doing great up there. So I mean, it just really depends. I think you're gonna see something if you go to Glacier. That's just all there is to it for wildlife. So
I feel it. I feel it. Zach.
Yeah, I would give it, for Glacier, you're going to give it like a 3.5 or a 4, even just because, like, we saw wildlife and you saw the Glacier wildlife, right? You go to the goat lick, you're going to see the goats. You're going to see the deer. You're going to see the squirrels and chipmunks. You're going to see some marmots, which I saw a couple. The spruce grouse was really cool because just seeing grouse in general is kind of hard sometimes. And I've never seen a spruce grouse that close. Having the interaction with the chipmunk at the loop was kind of cool just because he was curious. We didn't see the big hitters, the bears, but we heard they were around. We didn't see the big, the moose, which is fine, shit happens, or the bighorn sheep, which was kind of interesting because I can imagine seeing some bighorn sheep by that chalet. I think that would be a good spot for them. They like hanging around buildings and stuff. So you see them at Logan's Pass. It happens, you're not always going to see a bear. That's life. But I think for Glacier, you got to look at the wildlife for what it was. We probably saw, I saw a couple bald eagles flying, some ravens and some other birds. You see the mountain blue jays, and you just have to know what you're looking for, too.
100%. Yeah. Reviewing this trip to Glacier, I'm only giving it like a 2 out of 5. We didn't see a whole lot. We saw some, and you see the usuals that you get at Glacier. And maybe it's because we've had pretty good luck at Glacier in the past with seeing some shit. Technically there was a bear when we were at the end of the iceberg, when we were in the parking lot. Had to have binos to get up there to see it. So just this trip, not a whole lot of wildlife. It's definitely out there, in this park, and it's easy. You can go and find your goats. You can go and find your sheep. Bears, that's a lot of times that's luck, but you have a pretty good chance of seeing a good bear. So for me, it's really only about a 2 out of 5 for that one. So,
and I mean, to be fair, our intentions of this trip weren't necessarily animal focused. The main intention was the chalet. We were in and out of the park. We didn't do the going to Sun Road. And I think there's some like littler day hikes on the, especially on the east side, that I think would produce those more bear opportunities.
100%. Keeping with the wildlife theme, we're going to move on to the next category. This is a fan favorite. People ask for it all the time. It's, what's the chance of seeing Bigfoot? All right. What's the chance of seeing our boy Big? 5 being super solid chance. 1 being probably not here. So, Matt, buddy, we'll start with you.
yeah, I've actually given this one some thought while I was up there. So I would say, the classic Bigfoot sightings and territory tend to be more in the trees. And there is a mixture of trees, non-trees in Glacier. So I would give it about a 3 because of that, and because there's a lot of crowds come because it's a park. Like, it is remote enough, but at the same time there's still people around. So that's why I kind of put it right there in the middle.
Okay, I dig it. Tyler.
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, just because like where we were, we're like middle of nowhere. We were like a couple miles just off the road, and there was people obviously on the trail, but like if you just kept walking straight, you would be lost. You'd be gone. If you hopped off the trail, easily running into Bigfoot, tapping him on the shoulder. It's so dense, like the forests over there, like it's unbelievable.
No, it really is. It really is incredible. Zach, what's our chances?
Yeah, I'm gonna go three or four. Just because you're right, going up that, like, especially that western side, you take that loop trail and then you go kind of northwest of there. That is just forest going up to those lakes, going up towards Canada, getting more to the Great Pacific Northwest. And I think that's part of that's that push that way. That's where you're going to find him, because people aren't you're not going there. When you really look at those trails, especially those like that goat haunt trail, right? How many people are actually doing that? When you really look at the true numbers. So I think like there's good odds. There's some critters out there, like we talked about before. How many mountain lions do you think saw us on that hike going up to the chalet? I'd say one or two.
Yeah.
A bobcat probably saw us. One of those, bobcat or mountain lion probably saw us on those hikes. Easily.
Totally. No, I'm keeping with the 3-4 kind of theme here, because I think a lot of it actually has to do with where you're in the park, right? You get in the lower parts of it, there's more trees, that's where he's going to be. If you go higher up into the park, those chances are going to start to dwindle. But, maybe he's going to go up, gather some glacier water or, stuff. I don't know what my boy Big does up in the mountains, but it really kind of depends. No, the goat haunt area, I'm convinced that there's, at least a gaggle of them in there. So there's definitely places in that area that I think you have a super, super solid chance of seeing them. So a 3 or 4 really chance of seeing Bigfoot. But so this leaves us to the last category in the WWR, the Wandering Ways review of Glacier National Park 2022, and which is just classic overall. What would you give our trip to Glacier National Park 4 or 1 out of 5? What are you ranking it? 5 being amazing, 1 being like, send me a postcard next time. Matt, buddy, overall.
Yes, overall, this was a very good trip. It had variety. We had a hike on both the east and the west sides of the park. Couldn't do going to the Sun Road, but that's okay. We've done it before. I give it a solid 4 out of 5.
Right on. T-Dog.
Yeah, no, this was easily my best trip in Glacier. I love the chalet. I love the hikes we did. It was just everything it just was so smooth. Overall, it was just so smooth. 5 out of 5.
Woo, whoop, whoop, whoop. Bow, bow, bow. 5 out of 5, everybody. Zach.
I'm gonna go like 4.5.
Oh.
We could have spent more time, and we could have been better with our time, I think, in the park. We could have given ourselves an extra day or something to go do more. I think I really want to spend some more time on that east side for some reason, and we got that little bit of a taste, and it wasn't enough. I need more, and I feel like I also feel like, to me, getting sick that night because we didn't eat, or I didn't eat. That would have there would have been some other stops we probably could have made that night, like with the sunset and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We didn't, because we were pooped, but we could have been a little smarter on that hike and said, let's bring dinner up. We have a jet boil or something, and we didn't, and that's on us. But you learn, right? That's next time when we do a hike like that, maybe that's what we do.
100%. This one, I think, I don't know. I've been teetering between the 4 and the 5 because I didn't want to be part of the whole Dewey Decimal System. So, but I think I'm going to have to on this one. I'm going to go 4.5 because it was a great trip. It really was. what I think really kind of makes it is we had all of these plans at the beginning, right? We were going to hike Highline. We were going to go down the Swift Current Pass. We had all of these things, and like pretty much the only thing we were able to do from the original plan is to the actual chalet, stay in the chalet. We didn't plan to do the 4-mile steep hike. We were going to do Highline in, Swift Current down. You know, we were gonna go and do going to Sun Road just because it's easy to get side to side in the park that way. Couldn't do that, so and then we had to have a later shuttle because we didn't know we had to sign up for the shuttles and all that. So we had a lot of things not go to plan, but it still was a very good trip. Everything went well for the most part in getting it in. I mean, it was just spectacular to be up there. So I can't give it the 5 out of 5 because things went wrong from the original plan. But like we always say, you know, things always go wrong with our trips. This one probably just our best recovery from things going wrong. But yeah, 4 out of 5 or 4.5 out of 5. But with that being said, that's the end of the review, and it's honestly pretty good timing because it is time for our final words. So again, Tyler, it's been a while. I know you don't listen to the podcast, so I'll let you in on a little how this works. It's final words. Say whatever you want. If you have a poem for us, tell us a poem. If you have a joke, tell us a joke. If you have a song, it's literally whatever you want. You can even promote yerba mate tea for all we care.
Yes.
But that being said, final words. Tyler, since you're the newest, you're not the most regular person, we'll let you go first.
You know, I always like the positive messages, and I'm gonna go with make smart choices and don't kayak in a hailstorm. That is it.
I love it, Matt Buddy.
Yes, sir. Well, since I'm the king of promoting products, I got a new one here. Not backwards or okay.
No, you're good. We can see it.
Liquid Death beverages. I highly, highly encourage people to get these. Sometimes you are craving something a little bit extra than regular water. So this one's Mango Chainsaw. And their tagline is "Murder Your Thirst." Now, usually you don't want anything with murder, but when it's murdering your thirst, that's a good thing. So, another part of this company is they donate 10% of profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution. So we care about the environment, and this is a good company. They're out of Los Angeles, California, and you can buy their products at 7-Eleven.
There you go. I love it. I love it. I love it. Zach.
Yeah, for final words, I just want to thank everyone. If you're listening this far, it was a good episode. I hope you learned a thing or two about Glacier Park from us today. If you haven't checked out any of the other Glacier Park episodes, remember we have a Western Montana breakdown. We have a Glacier Park review. We have a Glacier Park breakdown. We talked about I believe the last time we went to Glacier, we talked about it. There's so much coming up forward. I know I was talking to Mark before the episode saying like, hey, we want to do breakdown. We want to talk about, some things we were seeing in the park with the weather shifting, when you see more rain in the spring, what that means for Glacier Park, it means the effect on the wildflowers. It means the effect on traffic on Logan's Pass when it's opening, on the snow, on hiking trails. So definitely Glacier Park is changing. When you look at those fragile ecosystems, that's something, you watch because those are the ones that change first. Those are the ones that change the quickest. And then they are the ones that truly trickle down the mountain and change the rest. So definitely something to watch, something to preserve, something to protect. So we gotta be smart, guys. Reverend, it's up to you to send us home.
I dig it. Reverend's final words of wisdom, everybody. Stay beautiful out there. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for listening all the way through. You know, I'm gonna do there'll be two little short little messages. They're kind of related, but first off, I got back from this trip and I was recommended two different things to watch. One by Tyler, Against the Ice. It's about the Denmark expedition to like prove Greenland is a part of Denmark. Great movie. It's on Netflix. Make sure to check that one out. It is actually low-key wild. Like wild. The other thing I recommend to watch, this one's on Disney Plus, and Zach told me to watch it, is America the Beautiful. And this is where it relates into the second part, is because at the end of it, they talk about like ordinary, random people making an impact on our environment, whether it is picking up golf balls out of the ocean, whether it is just going out to video the Florida panther. You know, it's just regular people going outside, making a difference, and that turns into something way bigger, you know. So I think we can go outside, because that's our message, is get outside and move. And if you really love it, you know, small things do add up. So go out, do the small things, help protect the environment, so that way we can still enjoy all of these beautiful things and all of the beautiful creatures in it. But with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.